Hey, alright, I'm Echaen, this is The Witness, and I think we're going to get started like straight away. Okay, so that'll be 3, 2, 1, go! So, this is The Witness, it's a puzzle game, all about drawing lines. These beginning panels in the tutorial area are not particularly challenging, we're just kind of making our way to the exit however we can. Some of the later panels are going to have sort of symbols on them that convey rules about what you can and cannot do in order to solve the puzzles. And some of them are going to have sort of environmental clues that lead to the solutions you need to find. So they're going to look a little arbitrary when we're drawing them, but we actually know everything already, up until the end of the run. The end of the run is going to be a hopefully like 2.5 minute long RNG section, so I'm going to be solving all of those puzzles as I go. There's a chance that I won't get some of them. Okay. Panic basket. Oh, am I presently audible? Okay, so this is all lasers. This is the, I guess, the medium length category of this game. Any percent requires you to do 7 of the sort of overworld areas. All lasers requires you to do all 11. So this is the first one we're doing right now. It's called Symmetry. The gimmick of this area is that the panels have sort of either reflective or rotational things at once. The majority of sort of time save in this game comes down to drawing lines faster. So it's all about precise and accurate mouse movement. We already know the solutions to all of these puzzles, so it's just about replicating those inputs as fast as we can. And this is going pretty well so far. That's good. These ones, especially these first 2 panels, are particularly hard from a distance, so I'm going to do them from snapped in instead. This is, it's worth talking about this. You can solve panels from anywhere, basically. Assuming that you can see the grid on the panel, you can solve it. And even in some situations where you can't see the grid, you can solve it. I'll open up this door. So, as a result, we generally don't want to do what the casual players do, which is snap in. So this is desert. All of the panels in here have these environmental clues. I'm not going to spoil what the environmental clues are, or how you would go about solving these casually, because I think the game is still a valuable casual experience, even after watching a speedrun of it. That's actually how I had my first casual experience with the game. I got into it through speedruns. Alright. Coming into this room, we actually only have to solve the last panel in this room to open the door and exit. This is Waves. That panel is notoriously one of the toughest panels in the game to solve fast because it has very, very tight angles in it, so it's really easy to draw in the wrong direction. That one, there we go. So, even though this game is just about drawing lines, you're damn right we have movement tech. It's all to do with drawing lines, so when you are drawing your line, you can trace the exact shape of the line that you're trying to draw. In a lot of cases, that ends up being really slow because you have to move your mouse a lot. So what you can do instead is you can do what we refer to collectively as pushing, which is basically just where you jam your mouse against the edge of the panel, and it will slide along the edge of the panel. And you can do this pushing technique to go really long distances with just a short mouse movement. So this is basically what we use to speed panels up, and I'm going to basically just be doing it wherever I can. Just in here and there. Like right there at the end, I just push it up there, and it helps just slide across the panel. So that speeds up solves a lot. Being able to like accurately trace is also really important, especially for certain panels, which will come soon, but pushing is a very, very valuable technique. Alright, so I'm going to do a snipe pan. This panel is not currently rendered. And now, I'm going to do another snipe. This snipe was recently discovered like 2 weeks ago, I think. It requires doing an alternate solution that was not originally intended by the developer, but is possible. Nice! That's actually amazing. I cannot believe I first tried that. Thank you. So we solved that first panel in the top row while we're still here, because we have time for it. Saves a bit of time because you're waiting for the stairs to come down anyway. So that is mill skip. Those stairs are the intended way to actually leave the mill once you've finished it, which would require solving all of those lower panels and waiting on the lift to go up. So by doing the stairs, all we have to do is just do the top set of panels, and then we can finish mill. So we've done 2 lasers so far. We're going to be basically finishing our 3rd laser here, but we're not actually going to finish it. And you'll see what I mean by that when we get to the end. Just going to do those underground panels, and then I'm going to come up, raise this ramp, start completing boathouse. Boathouse and mill are, even though they're kind of 2 separate areas, they're both part of what is collectively called quarry. And collectively, they represent quarry laser, so that is another one of the 11 lasers. But we're not going to get quarry laser yet. We're going to do all of this stuff. Quarry laser requires you to go all the way up on top of the rocks in the distance, and that is, from here, really, really slow, especially because we're going to go take this boat. The reason we need to take the boat is because one of the 11 lasers, which is Treehouse, is inaccessible for the first time by any way other than boat. So in order to... come on. In order to be able to access Treehouse, which we need to do to complete all lasers, we're going to have to take the boat. So we're going to do that now, because we're right at the boathouse. It's a really convenient time to go. You might have noticed, if you're familiar with the game, that I actually didn't send the boat to Treehouse. Treehouse is this area here. I actually sent the boat to Swamp. Now, I'm not going to go to Swamp, I'm going to go to Treehouse. So this is another bit of movement tech that we have. Or I suppose it's kind of movement tech that we have. But this is a speed strat for the boat called Quick Stop, because you stop the boat quickly. It's a pretty complicated name. But basically what we're going to do is redirect the boat, because if you were to tell the boat to go to Treehouse, it would start decelerating like now, and that's really slow. So instead, we're going to tell the boat to go past. It's going to go past at full speed, and then suddenly it's going to stop really fast, and then we're going to just adjust, and that was really good. I'm going to try and get a snipe here, not a big deal. That snipe saves, well, it saves you having to solve this right here, but it's pretty precise, so. Yeah, so that was an almost perfect quick stop. That is almost, I think, 10 to 15 seconds faster than not doing a quick stop at all. Got stuck there. This is Treehouse. These are stars. I won't spoil what the gimmick of these is. It's one of the fun things playing this game is figuring out what all of the symbols on the panels mean and figuring out the environmental solutions when that's the case. I think this is a very good puzzle game. And fortunately, the speedrun really doesn't spoil a lot of it, unless you have photographic memory. So, the thing is about Treehouse is we're going to be moving these long bridges, and in some cases rotating bridges. This one I'm going to solve from a weird position, and then I'm going to run back around, so that while this end is rotating, we can be running towards it. It saves a little bit of time, and it's not actually that much harder to solve. There we go. One of the ways this game is optimized, there's sort of two routing optimizations for this game. There's the normal routing, which is like what order we do the lasers in and what order we do things in within the laser in some cases. And then there's the panel routing. So these panels, at least these panels, the ones with symbols on them, are not defined by an arbitrary environmental solution. Instead, they're defined by the rules of the panel. So in the case of the mill skip that we did with the stair snipe, that was only possible because of the use of an alternative solution. So we're going to be basically finding whatever the fastest solutions are to these panels, and we're going to be doing those. Fastest generally means least light segments, and it also means least corners, because turning a corner is significantly harder than drawing a straight line. You might notice that I didn't solve the last panel on the last bridge, and I'm not going to solve the last one on this one either. That's just because of the way the collision works, you just actually don't need to solve the last panel on this bridge to continue. Which is very convenient. It saves time. We're going to wait for this to rotate. Now we're rotating the bridges in such a way that we can complete the laser. And then as soon as we do the laser, that's not right. As soon as we do the laser, we're going to rotate them again. So this is going to open the door. Don't have to solve the last two on that bridge. We're going to activate the laser. That's number 3 we've activated. Now we're going to immediately snipe this from the peak of the panels there, which allows you to snipe it. And we're going to snipe again the drawbridge. These are not particularly hard snipes, and the drawbridge really isn't time sensitive at all once you're pretty competent. So it's not a challenging one, not like stair snipe. Stair snipe is a very challenging snipe. I can actually talk a bit more about stair snipe. It's only possible not only because of the alternative solution, but also because of a collision bug. With thin enough objects, if you slide fast, you can actually clip through them. And so we set it up in such a way that we can clip through when we're doing a straight line, and that's only possible because of the alternate solution. So that requires a very specific position, a very specific solution, and a collision bug to be possible, and it was somewhat of the holy grail of Quarry until it was found like 3 weeks ago by Tan and I. It is a very cool skip. I need to keep now. This isn't a particularly exciting area to watch. I'm really just drawing panels. Up at top, this is the mother of all panels. This one. This is Keep Laser, and this really has a reputation in the community. Okay, that could have been worse. That is one of the harder panels in the run. I'm gonna leave Keep. Now I haven't forgotten my Quarry Laser, so I'm gonna go and do the fastest laser in the run. This one's pretty funny. So the area we're coming up to is Shadows. Shadows is quite a long area. I believe it's 21 panels you have to solve to open these gates, which allows you to do the thing. But if you just look through the bars, and if you already know the panel solution, then you only have to do that one. So that is a pretty big time save. So now that we've done Shadows, we're actually in a perfect spot. We're right back at the entrance to Quarry right now. We're just going to walk up the top onto these rocks, and then we're going to snipe the Quarry Laser. We could run over and get it, but that's slow. So we're going to just snipe it. We're going to snipe it, there we go. There we go. I'm actually just going to wait and make sure that activates. Yes, okay, good. If you fail to activate the Quarry Laser, if you miss-solve, there's actually no cue to tell you that you've miss-solved. And it won't activate. And when I get to the mountaintop, I will not be able to complete the run, so yeah. This panel's a pain, but again, we want to solve things from a distance because it saves running time. And sometimes, because it makes the thing smaller, it actually saves mouse movement time as well. It's about finding that balance between speed and accuracy. This is $25. These panels are pretty tough to solve fast, but you get a lot of practice at them. They're very, very early. They're actually the first thing we do outside of tutorial in any percent. So you get a ton of practice on them from that. Alright, this is one of the larger time saves in the run. This is Town Snipe. It's really cool. I'm going to stand on this edge of this wall here to give me enough height to be able to solve these panels. And you can't see what I'm drawing, and that's because the lines aren't visible. Okay, last one. Nice. Alright, that was really good. We're going to snipe this. Again, it's just solving things with distances really fast. This area's town. It kind of has a mishmash of all the areas in the game. It's got like mechanics from everywhere. It's a pretty neat area. We've got to solve this, unfortunately. There we go. This is triple panel. There we go. It is, again, because of these, like, having these 60-degree, like, the triangular bits on them, combined with the square grid, it makes it a very hard panel to solve fast. There we go. So we're almost done with town. We have to solve one last thing, and that's red, which we're going to solve from the tower. Another really rough panel. This is possibly the single hardest panel in the run. Because the angle you're solving it from is horrible. The intended place to solve it from is the thing that we're skipping with Town Snipe, so we have to not do it from there. Here I'm going to do something called Redirect Snipe. Nice. All these snipes are actually going pretty well. Quite impressed. There we go. So Redirect Snipe is necessary. I won't explain why, but we have to solve that panel to be able to get all 11 lasers, so. Coming up on Monastery. Monastery is an area that's all about the environment. Makes sense, because it's like on the edge of the jungle. It's like a very, very natural area. There we go. Nice. So these interior panels, we have like a fast ways to run between them. And fast ways to... We were doing a little bit of pushing, as usual, just to speed the solves up. Gonna go around the back and get the laser. So, we're coming up on... I think this would be the single biggest time save. No, this would probably be the second biggest time save in all lasers that we're coming up on. We're gonna do jungle. Well, we're gonna do a bit of jungle. And then we're gonna do a bit of bunker. And then we're gonna come back and finish jungle. So, we have to, basically, to do bunker, you have to send an elevator all the way up to the top. That was unfortunate. To do bunker, we have to send an elevator all the way up to the top, and it takes flipping ages. One thing about the developer of this game is that he really likes making moving things move very, very slowly. That's why the boat's so slow and all of that stuff. So, the elevator takes its time. So we're gonna do a bit of jungle, because we're on the way. And then we're gonna do a bit of bunker, and activate the elevator. And then we're gonna go finish jungle, and then we're gonna go finish bunker. So we're kind of doing like a combo of doing both at once. With these panels, you want to be not snapped in because it's faster. Because if you're not snapped in, you don't have to wait on the move time, and you have to move your mouse less distance to solve things. But finding like a good spot to be snapped in that has a good angle and everything is kind of hard. I'm going to do a little bit of movement tech here called like fast UV. Coming up on the room that's called UV room. There's ultraviolet light in it. I'm going to position myself just right so that I can solve that panel a little earlier than I would otherwise be able to. And that's about it for bunker, so we're going to go activate the elevator, which is, again, a snipe. Shocker. Nice. And head back to jungle. Jungle has another very big skip, actually. I guess this would save more time than... No, it probably saves less time than actually waiting on elevator. So this skip is called Jungle Wall Skip. There is a wall in jungle. You wonder where we got the name. We're really not very creative with our skip naming in the Witness community. Jungle Wall Skip is about skipping this wall that would otherwise block your progress when you activate it, and you need to activate it to complete the area. So you'd have to run all the way back around through Monastery, and that's what we used to do. Before an update changed how player movement worked very slightly and made this skip possible, and what I'm going to do is position myself next to the skip panel, and I'm going to hold, and I'm going to be past the wall. That wall would normally, I'm going to go a little closer, that would normally block your progress. And you would normally have to run all the way back around. This is about a 40-second time save from that skip being possible. It's pretty tight, but once you've done it a few times, you get a feel for where you can stand, and it becomes really consistent. So it's fast and consistent. It's just really, really good skip. So we're going to finish jungle. We're going to open the door, then we're going to do the laser, so that we can just leave as soon as the door is open. Like that. And the elevator is going to be now at the top of bunker so that we can use it to finish the laser. So that's sort of the jungle bunker combo. It saves a lot of time to do things that way, as opposed to just waiting on the elevator. I'm going to position myself just right so that I can solve this as soon as possible, and then I'm going to immediately send the elevator back down. By doing that solve twice, it slightly speeds up the rate that the elevator descends at, so it's a little bit faster. Making our way to the last laser that we haven't done. We did Symmetry, we did Desert, we did Quarry, and then came back to it later. We did Keep, we did Shadows, we then finished Quarry, we did Town, we did Monastery, we did Jungle and Bunker together. And we're coming up on Swamp, and if you've played this game, you know just how slowly things move in Swamp. So Swamp is going to take absolutely ages, and of course I am just kidding, because we are going to skip the entire thing by sniping 2 panels. And that's that. That was Swamp, basically. That is Swamp Snipe. It's, yeah, that saves a lot of time. The moving things in this game move really slowly, and Swamp has a lot of moving bridges in it, so doing Swamp and it's got a lot of panels. It's just really, really long. It would probably be the longest laser in the game if you didn't have Swamp Snipe. Although it might lose out to, yeah, it would lose out to Treehouse, but it would be like second longest laser in the game, I think. So that's a really important skip. So, that was 11 lasers. We're still going, though, because we're going to go finish the run with the challenge. So, the way the game works is once you've done 7 of the 11 areas, you're able to unlock the mountain, and you're able to finish the game. That's 80%. However, for all lasers, we intend on getting all 11 lasers, and then we intend on going to the bottom of the mountain and going under it, where we can find the sort of secret extra ending, which is the challenge. And that is a... ideally, it's about 2.5 minute long set of randomly generated panels. Oops, Doodle. Okay. There we go. First try. We need to position ourselves quite tightly for these panels. We have to solve this 3 times. There we go. Let's pick this. There we go. So, Mountain has a lot of gimmicks in it. Kind of like Town. I mean, it is the final area of the game that you can only access once you've done at least 7 areas, so it's very much sort of a test of your skills and all of that jazz. There's some very, very cool gimmicks in this area. There's also some absolutely horrifically bad gimmicks in this area, which is the visibility gimmicks of the orange panels. These are horrible, horrible panels. If you thought the first 4 were bad, the last 3 are even worse. These are the blue panels. They require precise, or this one at least requires very precise positioning. Okay, there we go. This is, these are probably some of the most obnoxious panels in the game. Okay. That went better than I expected it to. Great. So, you have to solve this bridge twice, and then these are pretty precise angle panels. There combining gimmicks from the earlier areas, so we've got gimmicks from like all of the places in the game coming together now. And also combining them with this visibility restriction gimmick, which I don't particularly like. These are, in fact, this area, which is referred to as Mountain 1 or Mountain Floor 1, is probably just everyone's least favorite area in the run. There's a ton of panels to solve. Orange panels are horrible, green panels are nasty, purple panels are really precise, the blue panels have tough parts about them. It's just hard, and the perspective puzzle on top of the mountain is also really hard. It's like, it's just tough. This is Mountain 2, second floor of the mountain. We're getting closer to the bottom now. These panels, I mean, you can see what the gimmick is. They're a little annoying casually again. In fact, Mountain generally has a reputation for being a little annoying casually. Like, first floor with those orange panels are very annoying, and then those colourful panels are also really annoying. Gimmick of this is awesome. I'm going to solve the same panels 6 times here, with a slightly changing solution every time, by making it more and more complex as we unlock more and more rules. And then we're going to do this last solution here 2 times. No. That was a really good solve. That's called multi-panel. We're going to line ourselves up with the staircase so that we can solve this as soon as possible and do another bridge. So the whole puzzle of Mountain Floor 2 is not really with the panels, but it's with these bridges. We need to leave via that side door, so we need to find a way to do that. I have actually played this game before, so I already know the way. That's kind of let you in on a pro tip. It's easier to play puzzle games if you've played them before. So yeah, I do know all the solutions to these panels, but in about 2 minutes time, we're going to be coming up on puzzles that I've never solved before. And I'm going to try and solve them in, hopefully, about 2 minutes 30. If I take longer than 6 minutes 40, I think it is the total amount of time I have, the challenge, I will fail the challenge, and I'll have to restart it. That would be bad. That would be bad. Because of the challenge, I'm actually going to change my FOV right now to 100. We usually run at 80 because it makes snipes easier, so things are bigger on your screen. But running at 100 for the challenge is really good because in a certain area of the challenge, it means you don't have to turn your head in order to see things. So we're going to do the floor of this room, which is a really cool puzzle. The movement in here is optimized to be done in such a way, like the order we solve these panels in is such a way that the mouse movement coming out of one panel leads into the next, and it feels very smooth to solve. And then this, which feels extremely good. I'm gonna do this guy. Okay, come on. So any percent would have gone through those doors straight ahead. We're not any percent, so we don't do that. I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna head into this secret area. So all of this stuff is only accessible once you have all 11 lasers. We don't have to solve any of these panels, actually, to do the challenge. Fortunately. We only have to solve one pillar. So if you haven't seen pillars yet, you might want to get yourself familiar with them. This is one. It's a sort of a continuous puzzle that wraps around all the way around the pillar. There we go. There are going to be 2 more of those pillars right at the end of the challenge, and they are the most problematic puzzles in the challenge by far. Everything is generally pretty simple, and if you do get a hard puzzle, you're actually able to mulligan it and get an easier one by solving it incorrectly on purpose, and then resolving the previous puzzle in the sequence. Pillars, you can't do that. If you solve a pillar incorrectly, it just solves incorrectly. Okay, so we solved that, which starts the challenge, and now I'm on time limit, and I'm going to be solving random puzzles, so hopefully it goes well. These ones aren't too hard. They start off with very simple gimmicks, and then the gimmicks become more complicated as it goes on. That should... Whoops. Failing the third battle is not a good sign. There we go. Should be fine. So, this panel is a very important one. I need to memorize the solution to it. How do I do this? I want to do this, right? I'm going to memorize the solution to it as 30113. I'm memorizing the distance from the bottom on each line segment. 30113. It's important that I remember that. We want to grab that. So this is a symmetry puzzle, just like the ones we had in symmetry, except it's randomly generated, so I've never seen it before. So I have no idea how to solve it. Fortunately, I've done a lot of these, so... that there, this... Wanna go there? Okay, that was kind of hard. Last one of these. So these generate in a random order, which is why I'm having to check all of my sides. That should work. Cool. This set of panels, only one of them is actually possible. It doesn't look like it's this one. It's not that one. Not that one. Okay, it does have to be this one. Okay, group them like that. So yeah, it's about figuring out which ones are impossible and figuring out which ones are possible. Ain't gonna work. This looks pretty promising. Can I do it like this? No, maybe it's... oh, it's this one. Go it like this. Yep. That second one with the set of colors is a lot harder, I think, than the first one. So 30113, this is where I need to have memorized that. That wasn't too bad. The memorization there tells you how to proceed through the maze and where these triangle puzzles are. These can be pretty challenging. I actually got pretty easy ones, fortunately for me. And we're coming up on the pillars, so time is going to be after I've solved both of these pillars. So after I solve the second one, that's going to be time. Okay. This is the dots pillar. It's traditionally the harder one, which is why I solve it first. Okay, it looks like this should work. It does. That's good. That was a good dots pillar. This is the stones pillar. It's about partitioning the stones, and time is going to be... not yet. I need to go... I need to have that one grouped. Can I do this? Okay, that's time. Whew. Alright, that went pretty well. I didn't fail the challenge, which was like the number one thing I was hoping to do going into this was not fail the challenge, so that's great. Brilliant. So that was the witness. We've got a Discord if you want to join, if you're interested in running. There's a lot of categories. There's 90%, which is shorter than this. There's 100%, which is significantly longer than this, and it's a ton of fun. Everyone's really friendly, so check it out. And I've been Echaen. I'm going to pass you back over to the intermission and to Paul.